So now we're going to talk about an event-driven offer. So this is the workflow that we're using to drive traffic to the Cadence event on Sunday. So it's Cadence. This occasion happens to be Cadence's first anniversary, but it could be just basically anything. But it's a time destination event. So that's what we're going to call it, an event-driven offer, which means that at the end of it, there's an event. So to trigger this event, we're dripping in new contacts at about 5 a minute, which is a lot for us. And so in order to make sure that those weren't backed up, we tried it at 1 a minute for 2 hours, and then we did it 3 a minute for 2 hours, and now it's like 5 a minute for 5 hours. So we have about 8,000 contacts for an event that starts on Sunday. So here's how we do it. So we're going to tag them as being in this thing, so we can segment them later. And we're going to assign a user to make sure that all the messaging is coming from a specific person. In this case, it's going to be actually coming from Shinari. And then we're going to notate the contact to make sure that we're keeping a record of what's happening with that particular contact. And we're creating an opportunity, and I'll show you what that means in a second. But we're creating an opportunity saying that we pitched this person, and what we're doing is we're segmenting the different stages of this pitch to see who's interested, who's not interested, who's opted out, etc. Because we want to find out how effective the offer is. And so the first thing we say to them is we say something along the lines of, hi, first name, it's Chef Shinari from Cadence. We're turning a year old. And so what this is, the anatomy of this is like, hey, we're introducing ourselves. This is coming from a person. I think people know that this isn't actually coming from a person, but still that doesn't stop us. So we couldn't have done this without eParty. So we're glorifying them. We're chuffing them up a little bit. And then we're inviting them to a party on the 3rd on 7th Street on East 7th Street from 3 to 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Okay. So we're saying, here's the thing in the date and the time. Are you interested? Now, this is the required language that we have to put in there. So say yes if you want it. If you say yes, you're opting in. If you say stop, that means that you are opting out. As in, we will never text you again because there's a trigger in the system to automatically make sure that we never reach out to them if they use the word stop, unsubscribe, remove me, that specific language, and that covers us legally. Mm-hmm. That would, if we didn't have this, then that would be a canned spam violation. But we also wanted to give them an option to do no thank you. So they say no thanks. That doesn't mean that they're opting out forever. But so it's effectively by saying no thanks, or even or saying any variation of not right now, like a negative intent, does not remove them from our system, but it does remove them from this particular campaign. And so that means and that also files them away as not interested. But that doesn't mean that we can't market to them again down the road. So we'll wait for them to reply, or we'll wait 2 days. Now, if they reply, we're going to edit the conversation and mark it as read to make sure that it doesn't show up in our list of unread messages. That separates this campaign from all the other inbound we're getting into this particular restaurant. So if they replied, then it goes down this side of the split of the workflow split of the logic split. Yeah. And then if they did not reply, then it'll time out right here for after 2 days, and then go over to this side over here. So for right now, we'll talk about and if they replied, were they interested? They showed us that they were interested by any of these phrases. So we have a little piece of artificial intelligence right here that says if the intent is positive, and that reads like yes, yeah, sure, okay, even maybe, I think is something that we read as positive. But we're not satisfied with artificial intelligence. It's not necessarily quite there yet. And so we say if they say maybe, definitely interested, yes, yeah, sure, absolutely, okay. Why for yes? If they give us a thumbs up, tell me more details. These things are all read as a positive intent. Okay. Then we continue down to this part of the workflow. All right. And so we've created, then we've updated that contact to say, yes, that they are interested, and they want more information. So we're going to wait a half a second just to kind of maybe make it look like we're a human, but I think that they know that we're not. We're not trying to pretend like we are. We're just kind of gaming it a little bit. Okay. At this point, we send them a little bit more details about what we're offering, and then this is sales copy, and this is also where we add value to our sponsors. So that's Sapero wine, and then Follow Your Heart vegan cheeses. And then we give them the rest of the details, especially first come, first serve, come as you are. We want to make sure that they have as much information so they don't have to ask us anything about it. Now we ask them, can you make it? Now that's typically a yes or no question. And depending on how they ask that question, I'm sorry, we also put a flyer in here. Oops. Didn't put a flyer in there. So the last ones haven't been getting a flyer. So save action, and then save. So how long have I been talking about this? So about 50 people just didn't get a flyer. Okay, so the flyer's in there. Now from that point, we just do wait 2 days, so we reply for 2 days, right? And so and they were replying to this message right here. And so if they don't reply after 2 days, then it's going to go down here. Now, let's say they do reply within 2 days. Then we're going to say that this is a higher intent person, and we're going to say that they're basically RSVP to this, and then we just send this message saying, confirming that we've got them. Cool, we'll see you there. From all of us on the Cadence team, we just really appreciate it. And then we set the event date time, which is Sunday at 3:00 in the afternoon. And at that time, so a day before that time, we're going to send them another text message saying, hey, just want to remind you, we'll see you tomorrow. So we're nurturing them and we're slowly just saying, hey, come on in, just to remind them. And then from at that point, the workflow ends. Now there's all kinds of eventualities in here, but everything revolves around that date. So the 23rd or the April 3rd. April 3rd at 3:00. And so if they didn't respond, to anything, then we are going to follow up with them right here with this message saying, hey, just hadn't heard from you. Are we going to see you tomorrow? And so we put another time date, time specific things saying about tomorrow. But we can copy and paste this workflow for other events, for event-driven offers. Yeah, and all we have to do is kind of update the copywriting and update this thing, and it'll nurture them into that particular event. So this stuff is really, really powerful. Really powerful. So we're literally feeding 8,000 contacts into this, and we're keeping track of them with all these different eventualities. Now, of course, if they say things like, I'm not interested, go fuck yourself, whatever, then we're going to say, no problem. You won't hear from us again. Have a great day. Thank you. In fact, I would maybe even consider not doing that, but this is where we set them as DND, which means do not disturb, which means that they will never hear from us again. So any workflow that we're doing, even if we can accidentally contact them again, because that would be a CAN spam violation, and that is actually actionable in court and a very hefty fine. Now, what we can do if we really want to get nasty, and what we do with non-event-driven offers, like as in evergreen offers, like we're doing with Ethereum, for instance, is that we'll put them in after they're done with the workflow. We'll put them into this 90-day holding pattern, and then we'll send them right back up here to start the whole thing over again. Okay. And so that creates that means that it's just sending them around and around and around again. About 4 times a year they hear from us.
And that's from guests who haven't replied to any of our text messages, or they just added.
Yeah, it depends.
Okay.
There's basically 4 different things, and I'll show you this right now. We'll go back to workflows, and then we're going to go back here. Oops. I'm going to go to opportunities. That's fine. We're going to go into we're going to go into opportunities right here, and we're going to make sure that we have the right campaign that we're looking at. So Cadence 1 year update, 1 year invite, making sure that we're looking at all statuses, and we can see how the leads are divided. So just today we've invited about 500 people, and so right here, we're looking at over here in the invited calling, we can see 725 leads, and what happens is if they've gone into the not interested, then they get removed from the invited. And then they move into not interested. Now, because we're texting 5 people a minute right now, you're going to see this changing all the time. So the number is going to go up, the number is going to go down, but everybody is getting a text message and they're responding at their own pace. And so this number is going to go up and down all the time. Now, what's not going to change very often is not interested. So if they say that they're not interested, it'll stay there, and we mark the lead as abandoned, as in they're not interested in this offer, which is fine, but we live to fight another day.
Yeah.
We have 26 people that said no thank you, or stop emailing us, stop texting us. We do not want to hear offers from you. And we just for statistical purposes, I want to see this now. If we had a really spammy line that said, come on in for this limited time offer today, buy. Then we would get a lot more opt-outs about people saying that this is not, this is salesy, this isn't for me. So this number, so 26 out of 900 right here, 900,000 over here is a really good opt-out percentage. So this is around 2%, 3%, which is good. And then we have 165 people that are interested. Now, these 165 people the day before are also going to get a text message saying, hey, we haven't heard from you. Would you like to come to this thing tomorrow? And then it'll put them into the workflow as if they had responded yes. Right. Okay. And so we're not giving up on these 166 people. And we've got 59 people that have said, yes, we'll definitely be there. And then we're going to remind them the day before again anyway, saying, hey, we'll see you tomorrow. So we're nurturing them in consistently, constantly into making sure that they're showing up, or leaving them completely alone. So we're just really at this point, we're really just playing the numbers here. So the more leads, so if we have 736 leads coming in, and we know that 60 of them are going to show up. That's less than a 10% conversion, actually less than a 1% conversion. Then we know that if we need 200 people there, that we need to put in 3,000 leads.
Oh, I see.
And so we're just creating a machine that inputs contacts and data and then outputs guests at our event, right? And then here's a visualization of that data in the dashboard here. So we're going to we're making sure that we have the right funnel here.
Oh, yeah, I don't see that.
And so we have 1,016 people invited. Of those people, 277 people said that are not interested. That's 277 people. That's also 27% said they're not interested. 252 people opted out. That's 24%. Sorry, I was wrong about that last figure. And then, but 22% say that they're interested, and I would consider that a conversion. And then the ultimate conversion, the one that really matters, is how many people are actually RSVP'd. That's almost 6%. And then of those people, how many people are actually going to show up is the number that I'm really interested in tracking on Sunday. So, so we'll be able to track as much information as we can, and hopefully we'll check people in and say, how did you end up here? Did you get a text message? And if you got a text message, cool, great. And then we'll keep track. But
wait, is that how they're keeping track on Sunday? They're just asking people.
I don't think we're not going to be able to keep very good data on it, but we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But we're not going to be able to keep track of how many people actually showed up as a result of this campaign. But anecdotally, you
can probably only check the receipts or their sales.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, those are the metrics that matter right there. It's site sentiment, sharing, search, and sales. Notice sales is only a small part of it. Okay, so then this sales distribution part is how many people were invited, and of those people, it just kind of divides it up a little bit into, so you can see what what was actually working and not working. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Isn't this awesome?
This is really cool. It's just insane how this machine is just growing and how effective it really is and how people are applying it. It's just so much. I feel in some ways it definitely helps with me in terms of social media marketing, because I can put these links out for RSVPs, and I have a lot of people who ask me questions about it, hey, do we have to make reservations? Do we have to get tickets? No, but you can RSVP to this link. Great, thank you.
Right.